welcome to Miss Kuka's class. We're doing our anatomy notes for the lymphatic and the immune system. So right now the internet seems to be down, so I cannot do this as a presentation. So we're going to do the best that we can. You're going to be watching this as a presentation. So here we go. Alright, what does the immune system do? So these are two really good introductory videos that I would like you to watch. They are a little bit longer. Take the time though to go through them and watch them. What I would do is actually watch them, finish the notes, and then go back and watch them again and add little things on here and there. Alright, disease. What is a disease? It's a change that affects the normal function of the body. So that change could be caused by bacteria, viruses, fungi, inherited traits, and environmental conditions. There you go. Pathogens. That is a disease-causing agent. So a bacteria would be a pathogen. Remember, most bacteria are harmless, and they actually help in digestion, but some do break down tissues for food or release toxins, and those are the ones that make us sick. Viruses, they invade and replicate. So what they actually do is attach themselves to your cell. They kind of trick the cell into letting them in, and then they insert their DNA and or RNA into the cell's DNA and take over. And so there's a video coming up that will actually show you how viruses work. A protist or a protista, those are little single-celled creatures. They can actually be quite pretty, but they will feed off the nutrients in your blood. So malaria is caused by a protist. Fungus. Many of you are familiar with funguses. They penetrate the skin and cause infection. So ringworm would probably be the most common fungus that we know of. It's not actually a worm. It is a fungus. Yeast infections, thrush infections. So those are all different types of fungal infections. If you want to go see some fun stuff, take a little break, go Google fungal infections and look at those images. Okay. And the last one are worms, like parasitic worms. So we do have other animals that are parasites that can affect us, like ticks, would give you Lyme disease or Rocky Mountain spotted yellow fever disease. But we see a lot of parasitic worms, roundworms, flatworms, pinworms. Those are also the ones that make your animals sick. So you have to get your dogs and your cats shots for that, dewormed. Okay. Spreading disease. So this, most of you probably know this already. It's a quick review. The three main ways in spreading diseases are physical contact, and that could be someone touching you that's sick. It could be they sneezed on the desk and you touch that. Or it could be sexual contact as in STDs. Also food and water, sharing infected food or water. And infected animals. So if an animal gives you something like in the picture here, that is a mosquito, they can inject the protists that give you malaria. Those are called vectors. This video here is a really good video. It's only a couple minutes long, and it goes through how a virus infects a cell. So this is your flu virus. Every year people get the flu. We have flu season. People get flu shots. This is how it actually works. All right, your immune system and lymphatic system. They're actually the same, or we consider them in the same systems. So you'll see lymphatic immune system or immune lymphatic system. They work together to keep you healthy. So the immune system has more of your defenses, your white blood cells, and it helps keep the bad stuff out. So it's mostly your defense. Your lymphatic system is what is going to get rid of the pathogens. So all the stuff that your immune system kills, those cells, that's how do we break it down and get rid of it. And it also makes your defense cells. Okay. Functions. So there's a couple different functions for your lymphatic immune system. It is the production, maintenance, and distribution of lymphocytes. So lymphocytes are white blood cells. They are a type of white blood cell. Remember, cytes, C-Y-T-E-S, means cell. It also helps return fluid and solutes from your peripheral tissues to the blood. Peripheral just means outside. So it's your tissues that are not right in the center of your body. It could be closer to the surface of your skin, etc. It also helps with the distribution of hormones, nutrients, and waste products from their tissues of origin to general circulation. Once this stuff is in general circulation, and we'll go into it a little more after, once it's back in your general circulation with your blood, then it can get filtered out by your kidneys, and it will go down to your bladder, and you will urinate it out. All right, organization of the immune system. There's 4 basic components. You have your vessels. That's going to be your actual lymphatic vessels. You have fluid, which is lymph, and that's what goes through those vessels. We have cells, white blood cells, and lymph tissue and organs. So we're going to go more into organs. I am simplifying this. You could become a doctor of immunology, where literally all you study is the immune system. It is that complex. All right, so the immune system, let's start with that first. You have 2 types of defenses. You have your non-specific and your specific. So your non-specific here, that's your first line of defense. So non-specific means just what it says. It's not trying to keep anything in particular out. It's trying to keep everything out. So it really doesn't care if it's good or bad. It's just trying to keep everything out. So the first line of defense, your very, very first thing, is a physical barrier, and that's your skin. Your skin is a part of your immune system. Think of it as like a great big wall around your body. So that's why when you have a cut or something on your hand, people want you to be careful, wear gloves, because you don't want anything going in there. That's why you wear a Band-Aid, because when you're out doing something and your hands can get dirty, that's a direct entry into your bloodstream. Also, with your face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, again, that's direct entry into your body. So you want to make sure that when you're sick or when you're working with something like raw meats or foods, that you're not touching that, because you don't want to give it direct entry into your body. Also, mucus, like what's in your nose, saliva, and tears all have enzymes that help break down cell walls of bacteria. So this stuff right here actually, again, helps kind of break bacteria down, the bad stuff, and then get rid of it. So notice all of these things actually go out of your body. Tears and mucus can kind of flow out your nose or your eyes. Saliva, a lot of times we spit it out when we don't feel good. It's trapping a lot of stuff. Or it goes down into our digestive tracts, where eventually it'll make it all the way through and you will defecate it out. Okay. So continuing with our non-specific defenses, we have a second line of defense, and that is your inflammatory response. So sometimes when we're saying something is swollen, we're talking about this inflammatory response. That's a reaction caused by injury or infection. So again, this happens when you're sick too. And what's happening is, in this picture here, your body detects that something's wrong. So if it's an injury, it could be broken, damaged tissue. If it is an illness or disease, then it could be, my cats are playing, that's what you hear in the background. Then it could be your body is sending in as many white blood cells part of your immune system, and extra fluid to help heal the infection or the injury as soon as possible. A fever is also considered a second line of defense. If it's a mild fever, like under 100 degrees, 99, 100, it's not bad for you. It's your body is actually trying to raise its temperature, its core temperature, so that you will be able to kill off some bacteria. A lot of bacteria that makes us sick, their favorite temperature is 98.7 degrees, which is our body temperature. Okay, so if we make that a little bit higher than normal, then it can kill off some of the other bacteria that's bad. It also increases the rate of metabolisms, so reactions will happen quicker, your heart beats faster, and so that gets your blood circulating faster. We get white blood cells to the area of the infection a lot quicker. All right, if an illness makes it past your first and second line of defense, we go into our specific defenses. Okay, so this is where your body is actually attacking a particular disease. And an antigen is a trigger. So an antigen is something that's found on the bad guy, the pathogen. And our body, we have certain cells that actually go through the blood and they go through the tissues. And if they detect these antigens on a foreign body, it will trigger a defense. So we have B cells and T cells. There's lots of different types of B cells, lots of different types of T cells. Those will actually recognize specific diseases and go after them. So B cells fight diseases in your body fluids. We call it humoral. And your T cells fight diseases inside the cells. We call that cell-mediated. So with your humoral immunity, pathogens release those antigens. Okay. So again, the pathogen's the bad guy, and they have the antigens. That's what causes our body to react. And B cells production increases. So as soon as our body realizes that something's wrong, we will start making more B cells immediately. We have plasma cells that release antibodies. So plasma cells are the beginning of B cells. And the proteins, an antibody is a protein, bind the antigens and destroy them. So here's what it looks like. It looks kind of like a Y. So this part right here, so this is an antibody, and then binds the antigens right here. So it actually holds those antigens right here, and then our body will get rid of it. We also have a different type of B cell called a memory B cell. Those stay in the system in case the pathogen comes back. And this is kind of the remembering one. Your body actually remembers when you get sick from something, remembers how to fight it. So if it invades your body again, it can immediately make these antibodies specific for that disease and get rid of it as quickly as possible. And that's why a lot of times we get a natural immunity, which we'll talk about coming up, like the chicken pox. Many of you had the vaccine for that. I did not. I had chicken pox. And so my body, though, remembers how to fight it. So even if I'm around chicken pox again, that virus gets into my body, but my body recognizes it immediately and will get rid of it before I get sick because it knows how to fight it. Next, we have cell-mediated immunity, and these are where we have our T cells. So just like the B cells, there are a lot of different types of T cells. So we have killer T cells. Those destroy anything with an antigen. So again, these ones are kind of like our army right here. They can also be a problem with organ transplants. So when people have to get a transplant, there's something called rejection. So what happens is each of our own cells has little receptors on them. They're almost like name tags that make it like your cell. So mine all say like kuka, 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 just name tag all over that. So when another cell comes in and it doesn't have that kuka name tag, my body knows it doesn't belong there. So what happens with an organ transplant is they have to suppress the immune system so that these killer T cells aren't doing their job. That way, they can put the new organ in the person, and it gives the body time to kind of regenerate because you're always making new cells, and those new cells on the organ will have that correct person's name tag on there. So by the time they let the immune system recover, it will have that person's name on there, and the killer T cells, for the most part, will accept it as its own. There are also helper T cells. These are the precursor to memory T cells down here. So these are the before ones. They produce memory T cells. We have suppressor T cells. These ones tell the killer T cells to stop. So these ones right here, the army, that will just go, that will kill, 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 kill. We need something to say, whoa, you've done your job, we're good. That's what the suppressor T cell does. And then we also have memory T cells, so just like our memory B cells, they remember the pathogens if it comes again. All right, so what you can do right here on this link is you can click on it, and it takes you to this really cool website that shows you where your lymphatic system is in your body. You could just sign in with Google. You'll be able to see all of your body systems. So feel free to play with it for a little while. And then on the left, I think it says on the right on here, but I actually think it's on the left side. You can unclick all of the body cells. And so just leave the lymphatic system. It should look something like this, but this is what it looks like in your body. And then on this website, you can actually move the body around so you can see it from different angles, and you can see where all of your lymph vessels, that's what all these little green lines are. These are not veins or arteries. These are lymph vessels, how they go around the body. So this is a cool website to play with. All right, lymphatic vessels. So again, just like the veins and arteries in your body, we have smaller vessels more towards the surface of the body, towards your skin. And as they go deeper, they get larger. Okay? It's run by a very, very low pressure, so there's nothing pushing the lymph. This is where your lymph fluid comes through. There's nothing pushing it through, so there's little valves in there, like little opening and closing, like one-way doors. And every time you move and walk around, those valves will open and close. Your muscles is kind of what squishes it. That's what keeps that lymph fluid flowing. Ultimately, there are going to be two large collecting structures. We call those lymphatic ducts. So these all lead to lymphatic ducts. So the first one that we're going to talk about is the thoracic duct. That collects all the lymph from your lower abdomen, your pelvis, your lower limbs, and the left half of your head, neck, and chest. Once it does that, it's going to empty the collected lymph into your venous system. So this is your regular circulatory system, your veins, and from there it can go to the kidneys, where it will be filtered out and you will urinate it out. Then we have the right lymphatic duct, and that collects from comparable locations on the right side. So basically the same places, but the right side, it's a little bit smaller. And this also will empty into your venous system. This slide right here actually has multiple pictures, so you could see where everything kind of fits together. But of course, like I said, the internet's not working, still reconnecting, so I can't present anything, so I can't actually click on the pictures. But the blue right here, these are your main veins. And the green, this is your lymphatic vessels. So they get really, really close, and your lymph will diffuse. So that fluid will diffuse into your veins with your blood. Okay? Doesn't hurt anything. All right, lymph nodules and nodes. So a nodule increases and decreases in size depending on the number of lymphocytes present. So these are located near organs of your respiratory, digestive, and urinary systems. So the stuff that is more likely to lead to infection, you're going to have lymph nodes next to. So I know many of you have gone to the doctor and you've had the doctor feel on both sides of your throat. There's going to be a picture on the next slide. They're feeling your nodules because they want to know if it's swollen. That usually means you have an infection because you have more lymphocytes and they're draining into your nodules, because what it's going to do is actually kind of filter it out. So tonsils and your appendix are example of lymph nodules. Actual nodes, they're a little bit bigger, but they're still small oval organs, and these filter and purify the lymph fluid before it reaches the venous system. So here's a picture here. These are your main ones. So these are the ones in the neck that the doctor is usually trying to feel. This is what it looks like up close. Okay. So again, as you're sick, as your body, your T cells and your B cells, as it's breaking this stuff, that bacteria and the virus is down, your lymph all collects that. And then we put it it's filtered in through to your bloodstream, and then it goes out your body that way. So your lymphatic system kind of drains everything out of your body. All right, your organs. There are lots of different tissues. The nodules and the nodes are lymph tissue. These are actual organs. So you have your thymus. That's going to be in your neck, and it decreases in size as you get older. That's normal. But it serves a vital role in the training and development of T cells. So this really, really helps with the development of your T cells. Your spleen, which is on the next slide, I'll show you a picture of it. It's off to the side of your stomach. That's the largest collection of lymph tissue in the body. It filters blood by removing abnormal blood cells. And then it also initiates responses of your B and T cells. So again, if your body, if it detects an infection, it will let the body know and will start making more B and T cells, or kind of trigger their maturity. It also stores a lot of iron. And here's what your spleen looks like. So this is your stomach. So your lungs would be up here, lung. Heart would be right here. And then behind the heart, you have your esophagus. It comes down from your neck and connects to your stomach. Here's your stomach. This will go down to your intestines. This is your liver right here. This kind of pale green thing is the gallbladder. And your spleen is off to the side right here. Your pancreas, if you've heard of that, that's going to be right down here. Yes, there's a picture behind it, and no, I can't get to it because, again, I can't present this. So I'll have you guys watch this, but I will also post the actual presentation. So if you want to look at more pictures, you are more than welcome to. Okay. Immunity. I said I was going to talk about immunity. So there's two main types. There's active immunity and passive immunity. Active immunity you can get two different ways. The first one is a vaccine. So I used chickenpox earlier. This is actually being sick from the pathogen, so that's why I have active immunity against the chickenpox virus. Many of you got the vaccine. So it actually is the disease. It's a weakened or dead form of the disease, and it's just enough to teach the immune system how to defeat it. What does it need to do? So it's not enough to make you sick, but it is enough to teach your immune system what to do, so it develops those antibodies so that if you are infected, it knows how to fight it. This is long term, so a lot of these will last your whole life. Some of them you'll need a little booster, like tetanus. You get it every 8 years or so, but these are long term. The second one is passive immunity. These are short term. So this is you getting an antibody from another animal or your mother, and that helps resist the pathogen. So like babies, they get their mom's immunity. Mom passes on their immunity. We also can do passive immunity from taking blood samples and breaking them down from other animals and injecting ourselves with them. You, doctor, not you specifically. And it will give you short-term immunity to certain diseases. It's only short-term because eventually your body realizes that, hey, this is not your cell, these are not your antibodies, and so your body will break it down. But that's one of the reasons babies, you got to be really careful around them, because they have their mom's passive immunity for only so long, but their immune systems haven't completely built up yet. And last but not least, here is another video on the lymph system. So again, he goes over it. I know they're a little bit longer and he talks really fast, but he's got so much information on here. It's really, really good for you. So this is my first time doing this. Obviously, things don't work out like the internet, but I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit different way of taking notes, and you can pause things whenever you need to. Again, I would go back up and watch the first two videos and add on to your notes now that you've gone through this. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.